On Friday, the Supreme Court told the president his tariffs are illegal. 6-3. Done. 3 hours later, he signed a brand new tariff, 10% on everything, every country. The next morning, he raised it to 15. Nobody is explaining what any of this means for you. Not the legal drama, not the politics. What happens to your grocery bill, your Amazon orders, your car payment, and your job? This week, this month, and for the next 5 months. That's what this video is. Let's go. Here's the fastest version of what happened because the timeline matters. Since April 2025, the president has been using an emergency law called ieepa to put tariffs on basically everything coming into the country. Different rates for different countries. China got hit the hardest. At one point, it was over 100% on some goods. These tariffs raised nearly $195 billion in extra revenue in the past year alone. The problem? No president had ever used that law to impose tariffs before. Multiple courts said it was illegal. The government kept collecting anyway while it appealed. On Friday, the Supreme Court settled it. 6 justices, including 2 that Trump himself appointed, said ieepa does not give the president the power to impose tariffs. Period. Trump called them fools, called them an embarrassment to their families. Then he walked to his desk and signed a new executive order. The new tariff uses a completely different law, Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974. It's never been used before. It allows the president to impose up to 15% on everything for 150 days. He started at 10 on Friday night, raised it to 15 on Saturday morning, the maximum the law allows. It goes into effect tomorrow. And here's the thing nobody is talking about. The old tariffs? Some countries were paying way more than 15%. China was at 35. India was at 18. The EU agreed to 15 in their deal. So for some countries, this is actually a tariff cut. For most everyday imports, it's roughly the same or lower than what was already in place. But the chaos, the uncertainty, that's what gets you. Let's talk about prices, because that's what you actually care about. Before Friday's ruling, tariffs were costing the average American household about $1,000 extra per year. That's according to the Tax Foundation. Yale's Budget Lab had it even higher, $1,750 per household. Now with the ieepa tariffs gone, that number drops. The Tax Foundation estimates it falls to about $400 per household for 2026 under the remaining tariffs. But here's the catch. That $400 number assumes the new 15% tariff is temporary, 150 days. If the administration finds another legal path, and they're already launching new investigations to do exactly that, the costs go right back up. And there's something most people don't understand about tariffs. You don't pay them at the store. They hit companies first. Companies absorb them for a while, then they pass them on. JPMorgan estimated that businesses absorbed about 80% of tariff costs in 2025, but that number is flipping. In 2026, businesses are passing the majority of those costs to you. Walmart's CEO literally said their tariffs will result in higher prices. Here's where it hits hardest. Groceries. The effective tariff on food imports was 9% as of December. Fresh produce was projected to jump 7% from tariffs alone. 73% of Americans say they're worried about paying for groceries. That number is bipartisan. Electronics. Phones, laptops, appliances, these are heavily sourced from China, Vietnam, India, all tariff targets. Consumer electronics prices were up 18% in the short run under the old regime. That pressure doesn't vanish overnight. Cars. Motor vehicle prices rose about 12% under the full tariff regime. That's roughly $6,200 extra on the price of a new car. Some of that eases with the ieepa tariffs gone, but auto tariffs under Section 232 are still fully in place. Clothes and shoes. Apparel saw 21% short-run price increases. Leather goods, shoes, handbags jumped 23%. Most of this comes from countries still facing tariffs. This is not theory. This is happening right now. These are real price increases on real things you buy every week. Now here's the part that could go either way. If the tariffs were illegal the entire time, which the Supreme Court just said they were, Then the government collected about $160 to $175 billion in duties that it might have to give back. The Supreme Court did not rule on refunds. Justice Kavanaugh called the process ahead a, quote, mess. The issue goes to the Court of International Trade now. Morgan Stanley estimates $85 billion in refunds. Raymond James says $175 billion. Nobody knows for sure. If refunds happen, here's what that means for you. Companies that paid tariffs on imported goods could get billions back. In theory, some of that savings gets passed to consumers. Prices on certain goods could soften. But don't hold your breath. Even if refunds are approved, they'll take months or years to process. And the refunds won't help you at checkout tomorrow. They help corporations first. Whether that trickles down to you depends entirely on competition. It's not guaranteed. Here's what you really need to understand about the next 5 months. The new 15% tariff expires in 150 days unless Congress extends it. That puts the deadline around late July. But the administration has already signaled they're not going to let tariffs die. The U.S. Trade Representative said they're launching Section 301 investigations on, quote, most major trading partners on an accelerated time frame. Those investigations let them impose targeted tariffs without ieepa. It's the same law used in Trump's first term against China. They also have a dozen Section 232 investigations open for national security tariffs. Steel, aluminum, copper, lumber, autos, semiconductors, pharmaceuticals, all still in play. The administration said they could push pharma tariffs toward 200% by mid to late 2026. And here's the trick with Section 122. The law says 150 days, but there's nothing stopping the president from letting it expire, declaring a new emergency, and starting a fresh 150 days. Legal scholars say it's questionable, but until a court says no, it's on the table. Translation: tariffs are not going away. They're shape-shifting. The legal basis changes, the rates adjust, but the direction is the same. Imported goods cost more. 7 things. Do them this week. Step 1. Buy the big stuff now. If you've been putting off buying a car, appliance, laptop, or phone, this is your window. Right now, some tariff rates are temporarily lower than they've been in a year because the ieepa tariffs are gone and the 15% replacement hasn't fully kicked in. That gap closes fast. Auto tariffs under Section 232 are still in place, but the ieepa rates on top of them just vanished. A car that was getting hit with 35% total might be at 25% now. That could save you thousands, but only until the administration finds a new legal path. Step 2. Stock up on imports that will get more expensive. Clothes, shoes, electronics accessories, small appliances, certain foods, anything sourced from Asia or Europe. The 15% kicks in tomorrow. Prices will adjust within 2 to 4 weeks. Step 3. Check your prescriptions. The administration exempted pharmaceuticals from the new 15% tariff, but they've signaled tariffs on drugs could go as high as 200% later this year under Section 232. If you take medication with imported ingredients, and most medications have imported ingredients, ask your doctor about a 90-day supply now. Step 4. Negotiate your bills. Here's something people forget. When prices are volatile, companies get flexible. Call your cable company. Call your insurance provider. Call your internet provider. Mention that you're cutting back due to rising costs. You'd be surprised how many will cut your rate to keep you. Step 5. Review your investments. Markets rallied on Friday when the Supreme Court struck down the tariffs, but then Trump announced new ones the same night. Futures dropped Sunday. This is going to be volatile for months. If you're in index funds, hold. If you're overweight in import-heavy sectors, retail, consumer electronics, auto, consider rebalancing. If you're sitting on cash, this volatility creates buying opportunities, but talk to an advisor before making big moves. Step 6. Build a price buy buffer. Tariffs are be better than price, all bad a build. Tariffs would be better than buffer to just video and service. But the tariffs are always been making in prompt survection. Tariffs are buffer people who just never do these new divider. But now any people divider than the video of it made will be building a price buffer. Tariffs are build a price buffer and pressed hidden tax. They don't show up on your paycheck, but they shrink what your money buys. Budget like you just took a 1 to 2% pay cut, because functionally, you did. Yale's Budget Lab says the remaining tariffs will cost the average household about $800 in lost purchasing power. For low-income households, that hits 3 times harder as a share of income. Step 7. Pay attention to the 150-day clock. The new tariff expires around late July. Between now and then, the administration is going to try to rebuild its tariff regime under different laws. Every time they announce a new investigation or a new executive order, prices could shift. Set a calendar reminder for July. Check what tariffs are in effect. Check what prices have done. Adjust your spending and saving accordingly. The people who get hurt by tariffs are the ones who don't pay attention until prices have already moved. You're not going to be one of those people. Let me rewind back for a second. The Supreme Court just told the president he can't do what he's been doing for the past year. The president immediately found another way to do it. A different law, a different box, same result. Tariffs on everything. Trade experts are already saying the new 15% tariff might be illegal too, because the law requires a balance of payments deficit that doesn't technically exist right now. That means another court challenge, another ruling, another pivot. This is not going to be resolved anytime soon. Tariffs are going to keep changing, keep being challenged, keep being replaced. The only constant is uncertainty. So here's everything one more time. Buy the big stuff now while rates are temporarily lower. Stock up on imports before prices adjust. Secure your prescriptions. Negotiate your bills. Review your investments. Budget for higher prices. And watch the 150-day clock. 7 things. Most of them take an afternoon. All of them protect you from the chaos that's coming. That's the protocol. And if you haven't seen the Iran video, because a war with Iran makes all of this 10 times worse, I broke the whole thing down right here. I'll see you in the next one.